Hey, Stephanie Hartman here of Catalyst Consulting. In my 20 plus years of supporting leaders of organizations, big and small, some recurring challenges seem to span regions and industries. From doctors to dog care, loggers to lawyers, and farmers to pharmacists, it turns out people stuff is people stuff. To celebrate 10 years since founding Catalyst, I'm releasing 10 videos this year to share concepts my clients have found especially helpful. Today's video is about abuse of power. Specifically, I will share my model that shows a predatory leader's pattern of manipulation. I developed this model based on, shall we say, an unfortunate longitudinal case study of one CEO who was forced to resign for fraud and sexual misconduct. I'm sharing it because the pattern seems to match other stories in the news. So this may be a predatory leader's playbook, not just a lifetime pattern of behavior for a lone corrupt individual. I am continuing to refine the model and plan to do more research, but I hope that it's helpful to you now, even in this early version. People can be manipulators at any level in the organization, but it is particularly devastating to an organization when someone who is entrusted to take care of it selfishly exploits the pedestal he's put on by starry-eyed subordinates and selfishly leverages company resources for personal gain. Somewhat like a sales function, the predatory leader continuously fills the pipeline with prospects. At every step, he scans for vulnerabilities and assesses whether you are friend or foe. Friends glorify. A foe is anyone the predator feels is showing imperfect loyalty. Foes are devalued and discarded. Imagine these holes on the side are trash chutes all along the way for foes. Discarding may include demotion or terminating in humiliating fashion, spreading rumors about you, not giving you budget or critical information to be successful. This scanning for vulnerabilities and assessing friend or foe is running in a continuous loop in the background behind each of the steps I'm about to describe. Step number 1 is brag and flatter. This sounds like some version of, I'm so great, you're so great, and did I mention I'm so great? The more he needs to use you for something, the thicker he will pour on both the praise of you and the glorifying of himself. Though a little obnoxious, this egregious bragging and flattery is not necessarily a problem and is hard to distinguish from standard behavior of a confident leader who praises employees. Still, the step is worth including because the initial steps of being manipulated feel fine and even good to the prey, and the appearance of good leadership allows it to hide in plain sight. This brag and flatter step is a critical foundation for the predator because if you are the prey, it serves as your initial impression, and you hold that as the truth about him. It is the basis from which all future judgments will be compared. Provided you've been spongy enough to soak in his I'm so great, you're so great predatory spray in step number 1, you move to step 2, which is buying loyalty. He's buying loyalty when he meters access of time, budget, and information to those who make him look or feel good. If you are one of the chosen ones, you think, finally, somebody gets how special I am. It starts out all very above board. He sends you private messages about your supposedly similar interests in food, music, sports, cars, and more to manufacture a connection. You feel special that you're friends with the big boss. In order to mirror you to manufacture a connection, his clothes or his hair may change. He may get the same kind of dog you have. He does what's needed to be like you and spend time with you. Even still, in this stage, it appears as good leadership, being friendly with the board and employees. If you are chosen, and newsflash, lots are chosen, you exercise your loyalty and quiet the noise when you're in a meeting and people question a decision or behavior. For example, someone might say, isn't it a conflict of interest for our company to work with that contractor? Or, he seems to be in long meetings with that young girl a lot. And you confidently say, I'm sure it's all fine. He's a great guy. You don't know him like I do. And sadly, you really mean it, thereby slowing down the would-be whistleblowers to his fraud or sexual misconduct. And now, you are an unwitting accomplice. But over time, there are more and more comments from colleagues pointing out fishy behavior. They say, we need to keep an eye on him. And this, my friends, is an expression that needs to ring in your head like the alarm bell that it is, because this is exactly when things hide from public view. Since unlike steps 1 and 2 that are foundational but not problematic in and of themselves, There is no mistaking, step number 3 is bad behavior. The predatory leader advances the exceptionally glorifying prey who are experiencing an existential crisis to step 3, bond in victimhood, isolate and save. It is kind for a leader to check on known concerns of employees. It is crossing the line, though, when your parents' health crisis, your money trouble, or your romantic relationship failure is a plausible excuse for alone time. And in that alone time, he shares with you, his subordinate, his own sad story about a health issue or marriage on the rocks, baiting you for comfort and making you feel like you're his only safe place to share. These private conversations grow more frequent and get progressively emotionally intimate. In cases of sexual misconduct, they also grow progressively physically intimate, starting with playful touch. Because of the resources at his fingertips, he pulls some strings to make life a little bit better for you. He convinces you this money, schedule flexibility, or policy exemption that is saving you must remain a secret. He further isolates you from those who'd be a sanity check or support. Part of you knows something's amiss, but things are complicated now as you're indebted. And now you're in the inner circle. Isolation is critical in step 3 of the predatory leader's pattern of behavior. This may include physical, financial, or psychological isolation of the prey from would-be protectors and sounding boards. One method for psychological isolation is vilifying those who attempt to warn the prey of the leader's dark ulterior motives to the generosity they are enjoying. Step 4 is promises or threats for the future. As inevitable challenges emerge, the predator makes promises to keep the prey engaged. By this point, the predator is already over the prey because nobody can satisfy his unquenchable thirst for glory for long. But he needs time to eject the prey on his terms. So to keep the prey engaged for appearances, he makes promises. Here, the predator apologizes profusely for misunderstandings and other poor treatment of you. He assures you if you'll just hang in there, changes are coming and you'll get your needs met. The promotion is coming, or I'm leaving my wife. If the promises don't work, he resorts to threats. You'll be ruined if you try to report me, or if you leave now, you need me. The final step, number 5, is discard. When people are eventually discarded, and everybody is eventually discarded, it is traumatic and disorienting because the prey believed there was an authentic relationship with connection and mutual respect. They're still carrying the initial impression of the leader in their mind. However, for predators like this, relationships are not real. People are tools to be used until they no longer serve their purpose. But the end is not necessarily the end. If he later finds a use for you, he will try to recycle you and pull you through the whole cycle again, leveraging your vulnerabilities and making you feel special. When enough undeniable evidence of wrongdoing is amassed and he is forced out of the company, he uses some sacrificial lamb story of martyrdom as bait for the next organization to hire him, where the cycle will repeat with fresh prey. So my advice to protect yourself from manipulation is watch for these behaviors and keep a journal to record the occurrences. Organizational tolerance for corrupt behavior is slow and incremental. Be aware of your vulnerabilities and how a corrupt person might try to use those against you. Maybe it's your family, love of country, or being seen as a team player. Always have an exit plan so you don't find yourself doing ethics gymnastics to justify tolerating and even aiding abuse of power. That's the Catalyst tip for today. Since I am aiming to build capacity in leaders and teams through and for business success, I'd love your help. Please share this video with another leader who likes to grow.